Hey everyone, welcome back to the Crafty Pearl podcast. This is episode 11, and today we're going to talk about finished objects, some new WIPs, and some yarn crawl goodness from my trip to Arkansas last week. So let's get started. First of all, you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as The Crafted Pearl. You can also find me over on Threads as The Crafted Pearl as well. You can DM me on Instagram or feel free to email me. I'll have my email linked down below if you ever want to contact me about anything, and I will get back to you as soon as I can with that. You can always check for my current WIPs or my finished object notes on my Ravelry page. If Ravelry is not accessible to you, please let me know and I can get you the information that you need. I'll be happy to do that for you. I have one finished object since the last time that I podcasted, and that is John's socks. I will put a picture here because he's already taken those and worn them to church this morning. So they're downstairs and he loves them so much already. I used the Magic Heel Socks pattern from Autumn Acorn. He likes that heel the best because it stretches and gives him just the best fit for his foot. So I used that pattern. I used the Arkansas Yarn Co. Yummy High Twist base in the colorway I Smell Snow. It's one of the colorways that they had from their Sock Yarn Society. So I used that and he loves it, and I have plenty left to probably do a pair of matching socks, at least shorties, for myself. So I think that's what I'm gonna do with that. But yeah, that's the only finished object that I have. I took those with me when I went to Arkansas and kind of worked on those when we were sitting around chatting and things like that, and I finished those up, I think at the end of last week. I have to check my Ravelry page for the exact date, but I did finish those up and happy to have them off the needles because he likes a really long leg on his sock and it just seemed to take forever. So he is very knit worthy though, so I'm happy to do that for him and knit him as many pairs as he would like. My current WIPs. My current WIPs are my Rainbow Ripple baby blanket. I showed that to you guys last podcast. I don't have it up here with me. It stays beside my bed so I can work on it when I have an opportunity, but I have not worked on it lately. I haven't worked on it actually since the last podcast. Crochet has just not been something that I've wanted to pick up, so that's kind of sitting there, but I do want to work on that some this week and try to maybe do 30 minutes a day on it to make some really good progress. So that's my challenge to myself, is to work on it 30 minutes a day and hopefully be able to get closer to finishing it and getting it off the hook, and I can get another crochet project started. Another WIP that I have currently on the needles, I don't have a project page started for this one yet, but this is some yarn that my bestie bought me for a gift. She got it at a store in Atlanta. I'm not sure which yarn store she went to. I will ask her, and then I will put that information down in the notes box. All the notes from today, websites mentioned, all of that will be down below in the description box, and so everything is available to you there. So I started a pair of socks for myself, just typical, magic loop, 56 stitches because my foot size has changed a lot. So I'm down to 56 stitches on my socks, so they fit better that way. And I just use the Crazy Sock Ladies pattern for the vanilla socks on Magic Loop. And I am using this yarn. I think I've showed it to you caked up before. I'm sorry, in the hank before, the skein, but I haven't showed you the yarn in the cake. And this yarn is from Circus Tonic Handmade. It's a dyer out of Australia. And this is, I don't know how to pronounce the name of the sock base, so I'm gonna show that to you. It's 80/20 Superwash Merino Nylon, and this is the Polly Pocket colorway, which I love. I'm an 80s baby 90s kid, so I do love Polly Pockets, and my girls are into Polly Pockets now. So that is the cake of yarn, and I'm just through the cuff and just started the first couple of rounds on the leg. My brain is just not there today, y'all. I'm sleepy. It's rainy here today. Yeah, I forgot to mention it's Sunday. It's July 30th, and it's a rainy afternoon here. So my brain is just not having it today. But I do like how it's working up. Very pretty. I like all the purples and, pinks. I know purple's my favorite. I do have these on US 1 2.25 millimeter 32-inch cord, but these are Likey needles. I purchased these on the yarn crawl at Hot Springs Fiber Co. This is my first time using these needles. My friend Marietta told me that she also has issues with arthritis in her hands, and when she knits, these are actually better for her. She's able to knit a little bit faster, and it doesn't hurt her hands like the Chalgoo. So I bought a pair just to try and see. So far, they feel like I'm gonna break them, but maybe that's because I'm so used to gripping the metal needles too tight. I'm not really sure. I want to use the needles for this pair of socks before I make a final judgment on whether I think they're better for me than the Chalgoo needles, because those are my favorite. But I did want to give it a try. I do like the way that the needles are gliding through my yarn. I really like that. So, and this is in just my little O Snap bag that I purchased in Huntsville at Fiber Artworks. And if you go back to my last podcast, all of her information, website, everything is linked down below in that description box. And I keep this in my yarn bag. I'll show you guys this while I'm here. This is just a little case I purchased at Bliss Yarns when I was there last September. I had a smaller version of these that I picked up at the Target dollar spot before. They're like little medicine containers. But I keep this in my knitting bag that I take with me everywhere. It has some crochet tension rings that I like to use, just some progress keepers. I keep two different colors of light bulb stitch markers in there. Stoppers for the end of my needles, cable hooks, darning needles, anything like that to weave in my ends. All of that's in there. I have my twice sheared sheep counters for knits and increases and knits and decreases for socks or other projects, and then a row counter from twice sheared sheep is in there as well. So that's just kind of like my little treasure chest that I keep in my main knitting bag, and I can swap it around from project to project. So that's the first project on my needles. The second project on my needles is the Drawn Together Cowl by Shayna Lyons Designs. I showed you guys the yarn before. Maybe I did, I don't remember. But I purchased this from Yarn Cafe Creations. And this is the Cafe Au Lait DK and the colorway Gothic Purple. And the numbers I have right there on the side, I weigh, once I take up my yarn, I weigh it to see how much my scale says that I have. Most 100 gram skeins are usually a little more or a little less either way. So I try to weigh it and see what my scale says so it's accurate when I weigh it after the project. And I have a more accurate number there. So this is the Gothic Purple DK. It is 100% superwash Polworth wool, 245 yards, 100 grams, and it is a 4-ply. My friend Tania and I both ordered the same colorway, and I cast on the cowl when I was at the yarn crawl. This is my first time doing a provisional cast on. I was nervous about it. I've always kind of avoided patterns that have provisional cast-ons. I'm not really sure why. because it was super easy. Shayna has a link in the pattern. So when you purchase it, there's a link in there that shows you how to do the provisional cast on and how that works into her pattern. So I finished the top rim, and then I'm working my way through the pattern of the cowl. And I think I'm going to switch to a shorter cord because I'm noticing I've got a lot of gapping right there between my knit stitches and my purl stitches. So I think I'm going to drop back down and switch to a smaller cord and maybe keep my stitches a little closer together, and hopefully that will help prevent that gapping. But I just have a progress keeper from, I think this one is from Arkansas Yarn Co. on there, so I can keep track of my progress, but I really like it. It's very pretty. I love how it's turning out. And it's a very easy pattern to remember when you can sit down and, you know, watch TV, watch a movie. So that is my second WIP. And other than that, that's all that I have on my needles right now. I do want to cast on for my rocket tee. I need to swatch for that and get that started because I want to have that for the retreat that's coming up, the knitting retreat with Lori and Jessa and Anna and Lindsay and all the other great ladies at Arkansas Yarn Co. And I want to have that to wear for the retreat as well. Speaking of Arkansas, I want to kind of go into acquisitions / personal. It's not really a ton about my family. It's about my trip. So if you want to stick around, it is yarny related. I participated in the Arkansas Yarn Crawl, just the southern end of it, this past weekend. It's my little tote bag we get every year. So it's July 21st through the 29th. And those are all the participating stores. So I did get to visit a few of them. Before I get into that, I did get a non-Yarn Crawl acquisition. I ordered a Tough DK sock set from Kimber of Kimber's Cozy Creations. This is the Hot Mess Express. And it is 75/25, superwash merino and nylon. So the main skein is 100 grams, so 245 yards, and the mini is a 20 gram mini of 45 yards. And I think Kimber is going to be doing a sock cowl pretty soon, so I'm excited to cast those on with her. So that's non-Arkansas related, but I did get this past week, and so it was nice to have some happy mail, some good squishy happy mail. And I will keep you guys up to date on when she posts that, starting that cowl. And I have linked her shop below, her website, as well as her Instagram. So you can go and check out her yarn. I love it. I did my Read More socks from Professor Pearl in her DK yarn. It's so squishy. It's so good. It knits up beautifully. So if you've not checked her out and purchased any of her yarn before, go ahead and do that. I believe she is having a sale or maybe a pre-order right now on some of her neon yarns, and the color saturation on them, it's just so, so good. So go check that out if you have not. It's linked below. But back to the yarn crawl. I did travel to Arkansas July, I think it was the 21st. Yeah, I went up and visited, I stayed with my friend Jen, and we hung out for a little bit on Thursday night and went to see Maddie and Kristen and had some Mexican and just hung out. I got to see baby JJ and give her lots of cuddles while I was there over the weekend. She's such a sweet baby and I can't wait to see her again. But I did. I got to hang out with all of my yarny friends. I did miss some of you who I didn't get to see at Arkansas Yarn Co. And there's some of you that I do get to see coming up on the retreat, and I'm really excited about that. But let's kind of start on Friday. We went to Knit Unto Others. So I have on one of their t-shirts. I have another one of their t-shirts, and they're so soft. They had their past shirts on sale for $5. So I got this one out of the bin. Woolly Good Yarn and Gifts. The ladies at Knit Unto Others are in Arkadelphia, Arkansas. They have a new storefront. They were in an older house, not too far from where they are now. They have a beautiful new storefront. I love visiting them every year. They're so sweet, always so encouraging, and they have such a wonderful variety of yarns and little notions and tools and books and pretty much anything that you could imagine. So I have their website linked below as well as their Instagram account if you want to go check them out. They do have online ordering as well. So the first thing that I snagged is this Della-Q bag. This is called the Rosemary bag. And that just tells a little bit, if I can hide, a little bit about the bag. It's handmade, one of a kind, and a portion of the purchase trains low-income and rural Vietnamese women in the art of quilting. So it has a little pocket in the front right there. You can put your cell phone in it, your little wallet, whatever. It can hang on your arm while you're walking. And then the button right here loops through. Opens up, and that's perfect for socks. I cannot wait to have this when I'm out just walking some during the day. It's too hot to do that right now, but in the mornings, if I walk, practice kind of walking and knitting, or if I'm at an event with the kids, kind of have this on my arm. I can have my cell phone, my wallet here in the front, and my yarn in here, and ready to go. Just kind of have it right there on my arm, and can have my yarn and my project as needed. So that was one of my purchases from Knit Unto Others. I did purchase an enamel pin. It's on my bag, which is on the other side of the room, and I don't feel like getting up to get it currently. So I'll have to show you guys later. I did post pictures of some of the yarn that I had and all of my purchases on Instagram, as well as I shared in my stories a picture of everything that our group got together. We try to take a picture every single year, but I thought you guys might want to see in more detail. My other purchase there was this beautiful skein of yarn. This is Silky Sock, fingering weight. It was 50% superwash merino, 50% silk. It's 438 yards, and it is a 4-ply. And it does not have a colorway name on it. But this is colored by Christy. She's an indie dyer in Arkadelphia. I love this. Is so soft. And I do have plans for my yarn. One of the things that I wanted to do when I purchased yarn on the crawl was to have a plan for what I wanted to do with it. I have my Ravelry queue linked below, but I am going to be making a dumpling bag. It's very similar in shape to this bag, but it is a free pattern. I believe it's a Pearl Soho pattern, but you can find it on Ravelry, and it will link directly to the Pearl Soho website, and you can find the pattern there. But I'm going to use fingering weight held double for it, and it's going to be so sturdy with this silk and so cozy, and I love it. I just want to hug. I've never wanted to hug a skein of yarn as much as I want to hug this one. And I just love the pretty colors. The purple, it's probably a little, it's like a reddish purple. Lots of blues, very pretty. So that was my purchase from Knit Unto Others. While at Arkansas Yarn Co. later in the day, we were having just some time to sit around and knit with one another and chat. Tristan from Dragon Horde Yarn was in store that weekend, the first weekend of the yarn crawl. She was doing a trunk show event. She was actually premiering one of the newest colorways for her Halloween collection that's about to be released. And Arkansas Yarn Co. got one of the colorways exclusive for the yarn crawl, and I got to purchase it. And the pattern I purchased it for is not out yet, but once it's out, I will tell you what I'm going to make with it. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited. The pattern's in testing right now, and it will be released soon. But this is Tristan's Myth fingering weight yarn. And this is in the Creepy Girl Tendencies colorway. It's a 75-25, 463 yards. So you get a lot of yardage out of that fingering weight skein. And I purchased the matching mohair. And this is her Pegasus mohair base, which is 72% kid silk, 28% mohair. It's 459 yards. And this is in the Creepy Girl Tendencies as well. So these are gonna go together in a project that is not released yet. It's a pattern that's still in testing. And once it's released, I will share with you guys on the podcast what that pattern is. If you were with me, you know what it is. But since it's not out yet, I don't want to share any information. That was my only purchase outside of my Golden Girls bag, which I did not bring up here. It was a Golden Girls bag from the Sexy Knitter. She had several of her bags, and by several, I mean probably in like upwards of 75 different bags there. She had her stitch markers. I love her stitch markers. I've had her Chick-fil-A ones. I've got some Louis Vuitton stitch markers that she made. They're just the cutest thing ever. So she had all of her stuff there. She was doing a trunk show. She was not there, but I did purchase the Golden Girls bag that I like to use for a sock bag. I used it for John's socks, so I'll put a picture in there. I have posted that on my Instagram as well, but I forgot to bring that back upstairs with me. So those are my purchases for Arkansas Yarn Co. On Friday night, we had an after hours event with Tristan of Dragon Horde Yarn. She is linked below. Her storefront, her Instagram, everything is linked below. We had just a time. It was a ticketed event, so you could purchase a ticket before the start of the yarn crawl. And it was about 2 hours after the store closed for the day. We got to sit around, have some snacks, and talk to Tristan about yarn dyeing, how she became a dyer, how she likes to knit, the patterns that she likes to design, what all is involved in being a yarn dyer, like how do you come up with your ideas? Like we were just able to have a really nice question and answer session. And she is very, very sweet, very smart, very business savvy. And I was just thoroughly impressed with her and happy that I was able to stay after closing and listen to what she had to say and what she had to share with us. So we all got a door prize, a little swag bag. And so there was a skein of yarn that Lori dyed on her sparkle base. Look at that, Stelina. It's so pretty. So that was in there. There was some straws, the Sip Sip Knit metal straws. Those were in there. And there were some stickers. A couple of other different things. There was a stitch marker. I think this is it. Yes, there was a dragon stitch marker. That was in there. There were a couple other things, but I've gotten it all mixed up with other stuff now, so I don't remember exactly what was in that pack. But everybody who participated, everybody who bought a ticket, their name went into a drawing for a grand prize at the end of the event. And I won it. I never win anything, y'all. I'm not like a really lucky type person who wins like lots of giveaways and stuff like that. So I was absolutely floored when Tristan drew my name out of the bag and I got the most amazing grand prize bag. Tristan included her Campfires and Cryptids collection mini set. And this is all on her mythical sock base, 75-25. They're all 92 yard minis. And they're just so pretty. I don't want to take them out of the plastic, so I'm trying to kind of move it around so you can see. But, oh, so good. So good. That was included. Lori also included a skein of yarn, which is her vintage chic, and this is on her Yummy Plush 8515 superwash merino nylon. And it's literally like it was dyed for me. It's purple, y'all. The weight of my heart, some purple yarn. And I believe, I got the Tuft Woolens hand balm to use, which I desperately need to put in my knitting bag. Some of the other prizes that were included in that bag was an Arkansas Yarn Co. tumbler, which I love. I'm gonna put my coffee in it. It'll be great for keeping my coffee warm. And I'm gonna put some fun stickers that I got on there. I'm running out of room on my other sticker cups. So she's got a shiny Arkansas Yarn Co. sticker. And this is one of my favorites. I've never been to Heaven, but I've been to Arkansas Yarn Co. So I'm gonna include those on there. Tape measure. Love these things. Can never have too many because I'm either losing them or my girls are taking them. So can never have too many of those. There was some tea, Dragon Fruit Desire Herbal Tea. I think that was in the swag bag that we got. And let's see, some sample of Soak Wash Scentless. And then an infinite phone ring to go on the back of your phone so you have a place to hold it. Then we have some ladies that were in store. They come as a group every year. I don't remember their names. If you are one of them, please let me know below so I can make sure I'm following you on Instagram. And you guys are so much fun. So one of the ladies, her grandson made stitch markers. I don't know if you can see. It's a ball of yarn with knitting needles. And she also had a keyring that's a gnome, as well as a stitch marker that is a sheep. And all of these, guys, her grandson 3D printed all of these. And they brought them with them and were handing them out at the store. And I just think that's the coolest thing. So sweet, so generous. So if you guys were there and you were the ones who handed this out, please comment below because I want to make sure that I'm following you online. I got to meet the voices behind the Young Folk Knits podcast. And I was just super, super excited to get to meet them in person. I listened to their podcast on Apple Podcasts. You can listen to it on pretty much any podcast player. But I'd saved up a lot of their episodes to listen to on my way to Arkansas. So I was so excited to get to meet them in person and have my picture made with them. So I'll put the picture up there. I first heard about the Young Folk Knits podcast from Lindsay of Always Yarn First. She introduced me to them and I just love it. I know that there also is a YouTube channel and I will link that below as well. And they have merch. They have all kinds of fun stuff. So if you're looking for a new audio podcast, which I like knitting audio podcasts for when I'm knitting in the car or whatever, or if I'm driving on trips, I like to have something besides music. I like to have someone to listen to, like I'm having a conversation if I'm by myself. So definitely check them out. I will try my best to link to that on Apple Podcasts as I can, but it's you can find their Instagram as Young Folk Knits, and then a hand knit letter. I'll put everything down below for you guys if you want to check them out and give them a follow. We went to Hot Springs Fiber Co. on Saturday after we got together, and we took our group picture at Arkansas Yarn Co. of our outline tees, outline tanks, the outline pattern that we knit for this year. I'll post a picture here. And I love seeing everybody's version of it, the colorways that they chose. It was just such a neat experience. It is every year. I was thrilled that I had finished it and actually was ready to go. I wasn't knitting up into the morning of, but we got together and took our picture. And then I got to go with Jennifer and we visited Hot Springs Fiber Co. I've never been to her store before. She was celebrating her 2nd birthday. So she had some sales going on. She was not part of the yarn crawl, but we were staying in the Hot Springs area. So we stopped by her shop while we were in the area. I did purchase the Likey needles from her. So if you are looking for someone who is a Likey needle dealer, I don't know that any of my local yarn stores have those. but I did purchase those from her. That was the only purchase that I made at the store that day, but I did purchase those from her, and she does ship. All of her information is down below. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I came home on Sunday and was so exhausted, but had the best time. It was just a wonderful, wonderful trip, a wonderful experience. I got to make new friends. Shout out to my friend Debbie, if you're watching this. Hope you made it back safely. And it was a wonderful experience. This was my 3rd year going to the Arkansas Yarn Crawl, and it definitely won't be my last. I am going back in a few weeks for the weekend knitting with friends weekend that Lori and Jessa and Anna and Lindsay have put together for Arkansas Yarn Co. There's going to be so many wonderful people there that I get to meet some new friends and hang out with some old friends, take some fun classes, and just spend some time knitting out at the beautiful resort that Lori has selected for us. So I'm excited to do that. Everything, I'll put the link below. I'm not sure if there are any spots available still, but if there are, and you want to grab one, then you can purchase that through Lori's website, and I will link that below as well. As far as personal family goes, grab my Diet Coke. I'm a Diet Coke girly. I love that more than anything. I do drink water, but I love my Diet Coke. As far as personal life with my kiddos and my husband, we're just rocking along. We've got a short amount of time before school starts back, so we're into school shopping mode. We're into buying new shoes and backpacks and lunch boxes and trying to go through our clothes and see what fits and meet the teacher and all kinds of fun things starting back up for my kids. And it's a very busy time of the year. I'm trying to enjoy and slow down as much as we can these last few weeks of summer. I'm one of those people who I'm very sad to see summer come to an end. I love having my family home with me, but it's good for them. They need to get back into their routine and get back and see their friends, and they definitely need some time apart from each other because they're constantly fighting. So they definitely need some time apart with their friends during the day so they can appreciate being together more at the end of the day when they're back together. As far as reading and watching, I haven't started any new shows yet. We just haven't had time at night to sit down and watch anything. My kiddos stay up pretty late during the summertime, so we just pretty much been crashing after we watch whatever they're watching on TV. And I'm still trying to finish Archer's Voice. It's been a slow read for me because I just fall asleep every time I pick it up to read. It's a good one though. It's gotten to a really good part in the book, so I'm hoping to finish that soon. But yeah, other than that, we're just kind of rocking and rolling, enjoying the last few weeks of summer, and I'm trying to get in as much knitting as I can. That's pretty much it. So I appreciate you joining me today. Hopefully I will have some more progress on my WIPs next time, maybe even a finished object. Actually made it 2 weeks and did another podcast. I'm so proud of myself, but I'm not gonna hold myself to that. Life happens. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great week. If you have any questions for me, pop those below. I'll try to answer them on the next podcast. I'm always on Instagram. You can always reach me there, and I look forward to chatting with you guys soon. Have a great week. Happy knitting.